I'm Sujatra, and a good evening. Why did we fight for Merdeka? So that the different races can be divided? That can't be the way, right? That can't be the way all these great Malay and UMNO leaders fought for this. Something is wrong. I hope the new discussions will start. Why are we building Malaysia? What Malaysia are we building? What kind of symbol is Malaysia supposed to be? This is a quote from a man who truly personified what it is to be a Malaysian that experienced the struggles for an independent Malaya, a Malaysian whose Herculean effort braved and sacrificed his own health to avert further bloodshed during the May 13 riots of 1969, a Malaysian who stood by and defended the Constitution, a Malaysian whom I am proud to call my grandfather, Tun Dr. Ismail. Today, we have a group of anarchists in the form of the extreme right and the anti-establishment left who wish to shove down our throats on how we should behave and think. What right do they have to tell me what to do? What right do they have to tell you what to do? Go back and read the Constitution, I say. Read it in its entirety. Stop selectively cherry-picking certain articles to suit your certain agendas. The Constitution is not a series of separate individual articles. The Constitution was designed to create and encourage a just and confident Malaysian, a Malaysian who is independent and free of the slave mindset of the feudal past. After 58 years, Malaysia has yet to free itself from the shackles of colonialism. We must remember the Constitution is the lifeblood of our nation, the foundation upon which our nation was built. It embraces every Malaysian. It is our mouthpiece that brought us our freedom, and it is this mouthpiece that will empower us to hold on to our freedom. Malaysia is us, and we are Malaysia. If we unite now and stand strongly together, each person to every other person, and each ethnicity or other group to every other group, then we will make this country a model of that which the people of our world call democracy. True democracy has no color distinction. We're all seated here in this room as we all believe that upholding the Constitution is a beacon that will lead us from the darkness into democracy. Thus, what the Constitution addresses is inclusivity, not exclusivity. I would like to briefly highlight three key issues that practice exclusivity. Firstly, our four branches of government. Under the articles of the Constitution, we have the executive, the legislative, the judiciary, and the royal houses. None is above any other. Each serves as a check and balance for the remaining three. Currently, we see an overlord of an executive dictating to the legislative, the judiciary, as well as our royal houses. To serve as a check and balance, the legislative needs to have key reforms. The legislative needs more select committees, each made up of bipartisan members, and which acts as an oversight to the various ministries. The legislative needs an ethics committee, where those in the executive can be held accountable as to how they run this nation. We must stress that the executive and legislative are made up of elected officials, elected by the Rakyat and represent the Rakyat. The Rakyat does not represent them, nor will we tolerate any of their bullshit. Secondly, I want to touch on an EP, a noble idea, an idea that has been twisted to serve the needs of the corrupt, an idea that was meant to reduce inequality, but instead has been bastardized to feed the rent-seeking kingpins. The Constitution tells us we are here, and we should not worry about what other races are here with us in this country. We must insist that our leaders heed the calls for a just economical policy that is inclusive and allows us to work together. Only together can we learn, achieve success, and transcend race and religion. We want our cattle to get fat on our land so that our children grow up in prosperity. We do not want that fat removed to feed others. He who has ears should know Malaysia is a gift from God, in whichever form and name we see him as. And I wish for those out there watching this video who happen to be brown, white or black, to know that we want to prosper as a nation, and as a nation we demand equality, that is equal pay for equal work. Whether it is a chief farmer or laborer, he or she needs in these days is sufficient income to meet the cost of living. Education, the basic necessity for every human being. I see a lot of wastage in this necessity. Why spend millions on infrastructure and cosmetic products when what needs to be fixed is intrinsic? Those who profess to be just must realize that this is the foundation of justice. A confident Malaysian is a Malaysian who is sure of him or herself. A knowledge-based Malaysian can determine what is right from what is wrong. We need to stop purchasing hardware when our software needs upgrading. Thus, we need more skilled teachers. Train them, give them incentives. Teachers used to be the motor that drove this nation to success. We need to return that prestige to them. Thus, we need confident Malaysians to produce confident Malaysians. The three examples I spoke of is proof that there is much room for improvement, as long as we preach that the Constitution teaches us to be inclusive and to be equal to one another. It has never been known in history that a country prospers without equality. Our country today is in a bad state, for its land is full of fools, and fools in a country delay the independence of its people. We despise bribery and corruption, these two words that every right-minded Malaysian repeatedly refer to. As long as our people are held down, corruption is sure to rise, and the only answer to this is a policy of equality. If we work together as one, we must succeed. The Constitution has imposed a mandate upon us to lay the foundation of our union as a nation. No sporadic act, nor pious resolution can resolve our present problems. Nothing will be of avail except the united act of a united people. We seated here do not use fists or weapons. If any of you out there that think force is good, I do not agree with you. Whatever grievances we have, let us air it in the open. It is only fair for us to be heard. Laws are what separate us from the beast. The criminal does not want freedom. He is only interested in lining his own pocket. Thus, let us demand our rights justly. We must unite now or perish. United, let us usher in the era of the new discussion. Thank you very much.